Okay, okay. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to tonight's Transformation Thursday. And this is week 180. So, thank you, everyone, for checking in. This evening, we will be. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on. One second. Reversing, reversing autoimmune. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm putting this in Instagram. How I reversed my autoimmune diagnosis. Okay. Okay. But Miss Alicia, thank you for being here this evening. Um, all right, I apologize for that. Okay. Thank you, Miss Alicia, for being here. I'm really looking forward to hearing you share your story. Do you have an actual physical copy of your book?
No, I do not
Okay.
actually have a physical copy of my book. It's still in the publication process.
Okay. All right. And as you can tell in the background, family is here. Life is lifing, but we're still just going to get through it. So, for everyone tuning in, thank you for tuning in for this week's discussion. And this one is really, really exciting because we have Bronx-based massage therapist and author, Miss Alycea Shirley. And she is going to share her healing journey on how she reversed blindness and an autoimmune diagnosis in 12 days. Not 12, not 12 months, in 12 days. So, Miss Alicia, if you'd like to introduce yourself and just share your story.
Thank you, Abina, for inviting me to tell my story. I actually just I wrote a book while in Ghana. It's still in the publication process, but it's called Well in 12: How I Reversed Blindness and an Autoimmune Diagnosis in 12 Days. So the story takes place in 2016. Actually, I'm sorry, 2017. My daughter, who is now 8, she was 1 years old, and I was working a job outside selling goods. Oh, see, here's my daughter Bonnie. It's my second boy.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
So I was outside in the sun, and I had like a little spot in my eye. A little spot was in my eye, and it was a very painful headache. So I continued working, but I was like a little concerned, and I thought maybe it was because I was standing in the sun too long. So when I went home, I decided to just try to get some rest.
Alycea, are you muted? Because I'm not hearing you on the Facebook. Are you muted? It's it's
Hey,
thank you. Hey,
so I've been muted this whole time.
on the Facebook, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so
So
should I
um,
retell the story?
yeah, you can just kind of back up a bit.
Okay, so I'm gonna reverse. Today I'm talking about the time I went blind. That was 7 years ago, 2017. My daughter was 1 years old, and I was working outside. I was selling the things outside, just trying to make ends meet for me and my daughter. And I remember it distinctly. I had a spot in my eye. This is what I'm writing my book about, Well in 12, how I was able to face this situation. So I had a little dot in my eye, a little gray dot, and it was accompanied with like a really painful headache, very, very painful. And I thought it was from me standing in the sun all day. So I went home that night and decided, I try to get as much rest as possible, close my eyes as much as possible. I was wearing sunglasses. But when I woke up the next day, the pain did not subside. It was actually worse. And the spot also grew larger in size. And the next day, the spot got even bigger, and the headache was worse. So I decided I couldn't go to work anymore like this. I had to go to the ophthalmologist. And when I went to the ophthalmologist, they gave me a test. And as I put my eyes into the machine, I realized, they realized that the left eye wasn't anything. If I looked with my right eye, I could see a green light. But with the left eye, it was nothing. And that's when I was diagnosed with being legally blind left eye. So he told me, though, actuality, there was nothing wrong with my eye. It was actually my optic nerve, and which is connected to my brain. So he said I have to make an appointment with my general doctor as soon as possible. And that's what I did. I made an appointment with the doctor, and they set me up for an MRI. And when they did the MRI, they said that the results wouldn't be ready for about 3 weeks. So I was like, I'm very frightened because the pain at this time was excruciating. I was wondering if I would even make it through the night with the pain that I was feeling. I was afraid. I didn't know who was going to take care of my daughter because I was the only one taking care of her at the time. So I remember my aunt who was battling she was battling a brain tumor about 20 years prior to that. And she had a doctor. He wasn't a med doctor, but we just called him Dr. C. And he was a doctor who looked at your eyes, and through your eyes he was able to tell you what was going on like in your body. Thank you. No. So he was able to find her tumor 20 years ago when doctors was like scrambling to find what was wrong with her. He was able to tell her that she had a tumor in her brain and how to treat it. So I called her and asked for his number, and she gave it to me. And the crazy part is that he's a traveling doctor. So every month of the year, he's in a different state. And it just so happened that he was in New York during this time. And he was leaving New York the following week. So I got him just in time. And, I give thanks to the Most High for that because it literally saved my life and changed my life. So I went to go see him in Brooklyn, and I had to sign documentation any kind of authorities, as he wasn't a legal, like a medical doctor. But I was desperate, and I needed to heal myself. So I went to him to see him, and he looked into my eyes. A small room in Brooklyn, nothing fancy. No, baby, no. I'm sorry, guys. So he looked into my eyes with like a camera, and then he amplified it and put it like on a screen.
So he was an iridologist.
Sorry. Oh. Abner, what's the name of it?
Iridologist. Iridologist.
Yes. He was an iridologist, and he amplified my. I'm sorry, guys. He amplified my eye on the screen, and he told me that I had that the left side of my brain was inflamed. The left side of my brain inflamed. And that was the reason why I was going blind in my left eye. He also told me a bunch of other ailments that I was suffering from at the time, such as he said I was a pre-diabetic. He said I needed to go vegan. I couldn't have any form of or animal byproduct. And I needed to do it like yesterday. So that's what I did. I studied Dr. Sebi. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with him. I studied Dr. Sebi. That was the thing I was thinking in my head. I was like, I think I'm going to have to do this. But he told me that, and he also gave me some supplements, and he gave me a list of oils as well to avoid. And I'm going to tell you guys that the oils was all the corn oil, vegetable oil that we use, peanut oil. It's very detrimental to our arteries, to our linings, our mucous membranes, all fill us with plaque and mucus. So he told me to stop eating them right away, and I should just eat clean. That's what I did. I changed. He told me like I could have like tofu and soy, but I thought also a lot about the things that Dr. Sebi did. So I also just went alkaline and raw, like immediately that same day. I was starting to eat nuts, salad, all raw fruit and vegetables. And I didn't even cook it for about 3 weeks. I ate raw fruits and vegetables with nuts. The very next day, after I started the diet, the pain I had started to decrease. So that gave me like it gave me the encouragement to continue. And day by day, the pain decreased, and the spot in my eye grew smaller.
Mommy, what you want?
No, stop. It's enough. I'll let you go upstairs, okay? So the pain decreased. And slowly my vision came back. I'm so sorry. 1 second, guys.
Your life, no worries. Alycea is a Bronx-based massage therapist. in the near the 233rd Street area. She does table and chair massage. She also does cupping, and yoni steamings and medical massage. So she can be found on IG at TheMelanatedMT on Instagram. Also, her other Instagram tag is the Wellness House of Healing. Hmm? Okay, I was just saying where people could find you on Instagram.
Oh yeah, the Wellness House of Healing and the Melanated MT. You can find me there. So I'm sorry about that, but
So I just want to say there's a comment here. My daughter has an autoimmune disease, but raw foods hurt her stomach.
what kind of autoimmune does she have?
Okay,
Well,
I
in
guess I have to look for it.
actuality, from what I was suffering, I went raw. But after 3 weeks, I just went to a normal vegan diet. Cooked food, cook quinoa, bulgur. I just started to eat normal vegan after my vision started to get better. And this is just my story and how it helped me. So if cook food is what she needs, as I will do that, as long as you're avoiding cooking with like those oils that I mentioned, as in the corn oil, the vegetable oil. The only oils I used was coconut, olive oil, and grapeseed oil.
Okay,
And
so she says Crohn's disease and that she doesn't do dairy or gluten. Yeah.
yes,
She's Crohn's disease and also Down syndrome. That's actually how I met her, kind of in the same parent group. And but she says, yeah, don't do dairy or gluten, but we use avocado oil.
avocado oil I would think you could use because avocado is definitely it's approved. It was on the list that he gave me of foods that I can eat. But I do remember for me, and the thing about this doctor, because I had a friend who had the same situation as me, like a few months after me, but he gave her a different list. I'm not sure if he. It turns out I had a multiple sclerosis. That's the autoimmune disease that I was diagnosed with by a medical doctor. Because he just told me that I had inflammation on my brain, but they said there was lesions on the brain, and it was an onset of multiple sclerosis. And my friend, he gave her a similar but different list. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Sebi, but he has a different nutritional list as well, which his doesn't include soy and some other things. But I was kind of first I just went raw and I avoided those things. And what I also one of the supplements he gave me was flaxseed oil. Very good at in disrupting the plaque that's goes through the arteries and all through the body that essentially causes a lot of these diseases. And that's what was on my brain was plaques and lesions. And I believe this is what really helped me. It was the clean. It was able to break down the mucus, and in 2 weeks, my eyesight was better. My eyesight was better, and in the third week, when I had to go back for my MRI, they gave me the results, and they told me the exact same thing that Dr. C told me. And they said my left from the pictures that they took at that my brain on the left side was indeed inflamed, and that it had lesions, and that it was showing an onset of multiple sclerosis, and actually the whole optic nerve was inflamed. And so they asked me how I was feeling, and I told them I'm actually feeling like 98% better. So they were really shocked because they had to prepare to give me a whole bunch of medications, corticosteroid, corticosteroids, a whole bunch of different medicines. And I was actually still breastfeeding at the time, and they was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to stop that because these medications won't allow it." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm feeling a lot better." And they was like, "Well, what did you do?" And I told them I stopped eating meat, and I just started to eat raw. Um, they was like, "No, that doesn't make any sense." So that's not the reason. Maybe your body is just like doing a thing, but they asked me, they suggested that I reintroduce meat into my diet, the doctor, and just what would happen. And considering feeling like I was just about to die, and I went completely blind, getting my vision back in just a matter of 12 days, I was like, no, I'm not gonna take a risk of reintroducing meat into my diet, because right now I feel like you're trying to kill me, because I was like walking on death row. That's what I felt like. So they was like, well, if you're not willing to take, I told them I didn't want to take the medicines. I wanted to continue with my raw diet, and I wanted to, essentially, when I was in need, when I felt like I was about to die, you told me I had to wait 3 weeks before you could even possibly help me. And if I didn't take matters into my own hands, then I don't know where I would be. And I'm already better. They they was they was like a little angry. The doctor was a female doctor. She was really angry with me, and she made me sign some forms. That was 7 years ago. And she said, if anything goes wrong with you, if you die, if you go blind, I want you to sign these forms saying that you refuse to take the medication, because now you're becoming a liability to me, and I'm the one who cares about your health and your vision, and it seems like you're not taking it seriously. So that's when I got really angry, because I she told me the medicines that I was going to be taking the time before, and I looked them all up, and they said even long-term use, which she said I would be using it indefinitely because it's an autoimmune disease, and you have to, it's like a lifelong thing. That's what they tell us. So they said I'll be using these steroids indefinitely. For short-term use, it would reduce the inflammation in my brain, and I would feel better. But for long-term use, it does have a side of cataracts. And I'm like, so you care about my vision today? I think you care about my vision right now, and but long-term use of this particular drug is said to cause cataracts. So it's going to ultimately lead to my blindness again. I was like, I'm not taking it. I just want to go the route without the medicine, and I want to continue with this diet. And asked me to sign the papers. I said, okay, I'll sign the papers, but I'm that's my choice right now. This is my body, and I've decided to refuse the medicine. And 7 years later today, I still I I'm not blind. I am in full health. I went to the ophthalmologist as well because I had a follow up with him. And when he did my vision test, I used to have 20/20 vision before the incident. And 3 weeks later, I had 20/20 vision again. And he was completely shocked because he'd never seen that before. He said, "What did you do?" And I told him I stopped eating meat. Like my answer was pretty simple. I said I stopped eating meat because that was the main thing I did. And he laughed. He laughed at me. He said, "No, you're joking." I was like, "No, I'm very, very serious." I didn't tell him about my meeting with Dr. Cruz. I didn't tell the other doctor as well, but I just told them. And he's like, oh, he couldn't believe it. He laughed, but he didn't tell me to reintroduce meat into my diet. But he just was like, I don't believe that. He refused to believe it, but he only had the results. The results, spoke for themselves, because I went from somebody who was legally blind weeks ago, and today my vision was 2020 as it was prior. So I never had any vision problems with my vision. And I took that as a sign that I just wanted to clean my system. I needed to clean my system and continuously clean. I was vegan for a little over a year, and then I slowly reintroduced meat into my diet. And that was crazy, but it happened because I was working at Buffalo Wild Wings. And I think, I don't know how, but I just started to eat like chicken again. And I still, I don't eat a lot of types of meat. It's just particularly beef, chicken, and fish. But right now, I want to go back to eating like vegan again. But I feel like I often do cleanses, and that's what's been like keeping me from not going blind again. But I would suggest, even though like I'm not doing it myself, I would for all of us to be vegan. And if you can't be vegan, I would say that you should be trying to cleanse your body for at least like 1 week a month with just clean food. Stay away from canola oils. Stay away from vegetable oil, corn oil. It's not healthy for us at all. And also, one major thing that I did not speak about at all, when I went blind, I was in like a terribly abusive relationship at the time. And the stress and food, I think, is like the biggest, because I noticed like anytime like I was like in like a shouting match, a partner at the time, like the pain would just go crazy in my head, to the point I had to surrender. I had to just like, okay, I can't, please, like I just have to go. I had to leave physically. I had to leave because the screaming, and then it was like resulting in a lot of negative self-talk that I was doing to myself. And I had to clean my body with the food, and I also had to clean my mind. And that's when I started to put into practice positive self-talk. When I spoke positively to myself, I noticed the pain in my brain relaxed. And that's when I realized that the mind is super, because when I was thinking bad things, or if I was getting shouted on, my brain felt it. My body felt it. And as soon as I took the time to like do box breathing, breathe, take deep breaths, do affirmations, I made it back, but the pain decreased. The pain, and I told myself as well, I was like, I'm gonna live, because I was also very afraid time that I might die, and I was very afraid of who was gonna raise my daughter. So I told myself every day, like, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna see Tiwa wait. I'm gonna see her get married. I'm gonna see her have children. I'm gonna be a grandmother one day. I just started to envision my future, me being alive, for her, for me, for my children who were not even born yet. I had to constantly visualize in my head and speak them out loud. And I believe that helped my process too. That it taught me a lot. That experience, it was so quick. 3 weeks is not a long time. But the whole thing was like about a month, because first I went blind, and it took like from 1 day for me to lose all my vision in my left eye. And that's when I had to start my vegan diet immediately. And that took me 3 weeks to regain my, not 3 weeks. 3 weeks is when I went to the MRI, but it took me 2 weeks to start. My vision was completely restored. And that was, that time was short, but it felt so long at the time, but it taught me a lot. It taught me to clean my life up, as in my thought, my food that I'm eating, and to rid myself, my partner that he's not my partner anymore, but it would be my escape from that relationship. And you just have to prioritize yourself and love yourself properly. Eating properly is a sign of self-respect. So you have to just make sure that you are putting the right food in your body and saying no to all those oils. And animals carry oil. We're animals too. We have oil. We secrete oil. So when we eat those animals, we're taking in those oils. And I started my journey for holistic health even stronger within myself, because interested in it before, but I never practiced it. I just read about it, I watched it, I studied it, but it was like the Most High forced me to practice what I was studying all these years, and I was able. And I thank God for to see, because it gave me the tools I needed to get my vision back, to get my life back, to have let my daughter have mom. And that's what I wrote my book about. It goes a little bit deeper. It goes a little bit deeper into the story, but the idea is that you have to eat clean. You have to clean your body often. If you're not going to be vegan, just make sure you clean it. Me, I would suggest eat clean until any ailment that you have is gone. Eat clean. I ate raw. If raw food upsets your stomach, then cook your green. Vegetables are even more healthier when you cook them, like spinach and the dark greens. They get more nutrients when you lightly steam them. It's okay. It's okay. But me at the time, I just went raw. But the doctor, see, he didn't tell me I had to do that. That was my own doing. And that was because, like, I actually met him in 2015 before he passed, and he said raw was like the best, and I didn't follow it, but that was it was like in my Rolodex in my. So when I met Dr. C and he told me I need to just cut out meat completely, like yesterday, then I just decided, okay, let me give this a jump start and let me just not eat any at all, any cooked vegetables or anything. And please take flaxseed oil. It's it's very good for you. It's like it helps to clean your colon, and a lot of times we have backed up waste in our body. So flaxseed paired with colon cleanse, that's what I took. It helped to eliminate the toxins that was sitting in my stomach and in my body. So if anybody has any questions, you can feel free to ask me.
Yeah, so there's a comment here on the reaction. Someone said the reaction of the doctor. They said, wow, their reaction was really horrible. She also says, thank you very much for sharing your story. And um, what what do you suggest for someone to get started?
Okay, if you want to get started, the first thing I would do is clear your kitchen, because you want to clear your body. But I would just try not to have those things available to you. So you have to. There's a shopping list, like, and I could send it to Abena and try to put these staples in your kitchen, so that when you are hungry, or when you are in need, then you don't feel like you have to go eating just because you're hungry and just make something quickly with the ingredients that you shouldn't be eating. So you should have clear your kitchen, clear your pantry of those things, and just replace them with the appropriate things. So there's grains that you can have. You, I didn't eat rice. I didn't eat no bread. I had brown rice, wild rice. I had sweet potato, not white potato, when I was cooking. So you can have these things available to you. Kamut, or it's like Kamut, kamut or kamut. It's like a grain. You can have that, and then all the vegetables, collard greens, kale. I did not eat corn. Those all the fruits. I ate all fruits. Eventually, after the 3 weeks, I did introduce soy, but not too often. But um, yeah, I would suggest that you just clear your your cabinet and then you replace it for these other things. I'm more than happy to send Abena a list. If you want, she could send it to you of foods that you can stock your pantry with. Also supplements. I think you just get the supplies you need. Get the supplies. Nuts. If you're gonna be hungry, nuts really help. Like when you a lot of fat in them. So if you're feeling hungry, because sometimes I didn't feel satiated if I ate like a whole bunch of vegetables, but nuts that relax my hunger. So I would just say to make sure before, like me, I didn't have like a choice of like waiting, doing all these things, but it was like my will to live that forced me. I didn't even care. Everything, the meat at that point started to disgust me. It was so it didn't matter if it was right in front of me in a beautiful platter. It was disgusting to me because it was like death. But if you're just starting and you're not death, I think that you should just clear your pantry of the things that you're used to eating and just put them in. So and then do meal preps. I don't hear you,
So,
Abner.
yeah, I know it's me and the mute button. I know I always have an issue with that. Okay, so someone says I have been reading about colon cleanses too and toxins lingering in your body. Someone else says, oh, I want that shopping list. So, yeah, someone's very into
Yes.
the shopping list. And there's a question. Hello, what do you suggest for vitamin deficiency and malabsorption?
Okay. I'm not a doctor, but about vitamin deficiency and B12. If you're lacking in B12, it's going to be hard for your body to absorb a lot of minerals and vitamins. So I would suggest that you start off taking B12, and then you could, if you're lacking magnesium, if you're lacking iron, your body can actually absorb those things. So sometimes we're taking a lot of supplements, but we're wondering why our body's not reacting to it. It's because we're lacking B12. I know. Any other
Uh,
questions?
I'm scrolling. Okay, let me see what's going on Facebook. There are definitely people watching on Facebook, and on Facebook, I just got a lot of hearts, just a lot of hearts and a lot of likes. So, was there anything physically going on with you? Anything else with the blindness, or just the stress when the blindness started?
I think it was I'm not, I was overweight, but I always been overweight. Like I always been like on the heavy side. But I think it was mostly I think it was the stress paired with my diet. That's I think like I grew up eating things that made me sick. And before this, I had also another autoimmune disease that especially people who have excess weight on them, is called hidradenitis suppurativa. And I had that for years, and it started to get out of control, and it was very, very debilitating and painful. And that was when I was like early 20s, and I stopped eating gluten. And it just automatically stopped. So that was through studying differently as well. That's when also I got it more interested in holistic healing. But I stopped eating gluten, and the hidradenitis suppurativa cleared up. I didn't have to worry about that again. But besides that, I was a healthy individual. I didn't have any issues until my eyes. Yeah, my eye went. Thank you. You want this? So yeah, I was pretty much healthy. Besides that, hidradenitis suppurativa, and that was from gluten. So this is when I started to really understand what I really think, and this is through my life experience, that a lot of our ailments are through food. It's like the food is standard American diet is very, very sad. That's what I call it, the sad diet, because it makes us very sick. On drugs, and a lot of times these doctors would tell us, oh, because they told me the same thing with the hidradenitis suppurativa, that there's no cure, that it's normal. Actuality, like clearly it's not normal, and in the actuality there is a cure. But I was able to cure myself in both situations, the sclerosis and the hidradenitis suppurativa. So it just came down to food. And when I did the multiple sclerosis, the brain issue, it was also my mentality, like how I was talking to myself.
Okay, so the multiple sclerosis, you were diagnosed with that at the same time as the blindness, or it was the blindness first?
The blindness, the blindness was a symptom of the multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is the condition, but but blindness was the condition is multiple, but the symptom blindness is what brought me to the doctor to even find out that I had multiple sclerosis. Blindness, it was just a symptom of sclerosis, so they came together. But I didn't feel multiple sclerosis. I felt blind. Do you understand?
Okay, so it was the blindness first,
Right.
and blindness led you to the doctor, and that's what that led the nurse with the multiple sclerosis. And
Right.
after you heal from the blindness, what did they say about the multiple sclerosis?
After they told me to reintroduce me in my diet. They told me to. Go ahead with this, please. They told me to reintroduce meat into my diet, and then I just never went back to that doctor, and I never experienced any other symptoms. So they told me I had lesions on my brain before. My brain was inflamed, but I never had a headache. I have a headache these days is if I don't drink enough water, and that's to me it's like a clear sign. Like now I'm like I read my body a lot better and quicker. So any kind of headache, I say, okay, maybe I'm feeling dehydrated. And if I drink more and more water, then the headache would just dissipate. But ever since then, I've never any of that feeling again.
Okay, thank you. Someone else said that they would definitely appreciate that shopping list.
Okay, I'm gonna type it up for you, Abner, and I'm gonna send it to you. And I guess whoever wants it, you could just take a note and you can send it out to him.
Yeah, if everyone could, let me kind of put my email address here. So anyone who wants it can request it. Um, they can email me, and when you send it, I will send it out to them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were still able to walk and function otherwise throughout this period?
Yes, yes. Multiple sclerosis, it carries different for each individual. Some people they lose they to walk. Their movements become very jagged, and I didn't experience any of that. I never experienced any of that. Give thanks. I experienced that. But one is blindness. That is a part of multiple sclerosis. Not everybody gets it. Some people experience different, but me, I just went blind. My eyes was a little shaky as well. Shaky eyes. That was and tender. It was painful to the touch. That it was just mostly in my manifested into my eyes.
And what prompted you to really write the book?
Well, when I was in Ghana, I I started. I was eating a lot of meat in Ghana. I'm not gonna lie. I was eating a lot of. They have like a lot of those, suya, kebab, and I was just eating it and liver. I was pregnant, and I had a low blood count, and so at the time my partner, he was like, okay, like you need to eat liver. Everybody's like liver, liver, liver. I never ate liver before, but it's really good, and it was helping my blood apparently. But then I noticed like that my eye, I it wasn't paining me, but I just noticed some cloudiness, and I decided I was like, okay, I think I need to cleanse right away, and so I stopped eating again, but this time it was only a week, and I started to like take over there. There's a lot of papaya, pawpaw, and I started to chew the seeds. So like colon cleansing. So I would just do that, and then like my vision, went back to normal. And I was like, I think I always wanted to tell the story. When it first happened, I wanted to tell a story. Actually, when it first happened, I didn't want to tell a story. It was still kind of traumatizing to me. To, one day, build the courage to kind of tell the story. I don't know what I was like. I just, shy. I don't know why, but I just always was afraid, or I just didn't want to tell the story. I just told the story to like my close friends. And then I was like, I need to write a book about this. And after I started to have blurry vision slightly, and I went, I fasted for a week. I just call it a fast. And, everything went back to normal. I said, and I read more and more, and a lot of people who suffer autoimmune disease, they do the same and they rehabilitate themselves. So I was like, I think I want to tell my story. Actually, I had a friend who went blind like the same year. She is crazy. Birthday, and the same time, me and her was going blind. And I told her like what I was doing, and she was like, "No, it's whatever. Doctor, I got something different." And I don't want to discredit her story or her whatever she know. But I was like, "Well, don't always listen to these doctors. Please, like, try." I don't. She didn't have a multiple sclerosis. I think something was actually wrong with her eyes. But that's when I think like the mentality, like my in time, and I told you I had to visualize my daughter giving birth. That's something I was like visualizing to help me to say I'm going to live. And she was like a little bit defeated because of what the doctor told her. And at that time, when I was in Ghana, she was fully blind. it just made me very grateful to have my vision. And I said, I want to tell this story. I need to tell this story. And I had times I wasn't working. I was in Africa for 2 years, and I had more time on my hands. And I said, I think, every day I just wrote my story about the experience that I had, about all the foods I ate, about the struggle that I even brought me. And I just wanted my story to be out there because I thought about my friend. I thought about me almost going blind again. And I was like, people are suffering.
So
And I
you
was
had like a resurgence of this when you were in Ghana.
right. I
Oh,
did it. It wasn't as bad. It was the pain. It was painful. The first time it was accompanied by pain, but it was I noticed my left eye was blurry, and that incited me to quickly just go do a cleanse.
interesting. Wow. So being there, um, I guess with the dietary changes probably sparked a resurgence.
Yes, I think so.
Um, Because usually like the food over there is so much cleaner than over here.
Right, but that's why I think, especially what the doctor told me, Dr. C, the food is much cleaner. Had I been eating that kind of meat, like in America, I think I would have been blind much and harder too. But meat has a lot of oil in it. And, there's a lot of lamb and beef, and it's like it has a lot of oil. It's naturally oily, animals. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, and I think it's the oil in the animals, even the corn oil, those kind of things. I don't think it's good in access. And me, I was like living a life of enjoyment, as they would say in Ghana, or enjoyment, because a lot of people, even in Ghana, they don't eat so much meat. I think I was overdoing it. They eat it, but they don't eat like so much. Like they'll put like some fish in their stew. They'll have like stew with meat in it, but it's not like just sitting there eating meat. I think I went a little crazy with the liver. I think it was too much.
So, okay, so yeah, for someone who is starting out, what are maybe some three basic things that they should do, to try if someone is feeling like the same kind of symptoms, what are like maybe the top three things they should start doing immediately?
Immediately clear your kitchen. Just immediately buy vegetables. First thing you need to do is buy vegetables and clear your space of meat if you're gonna feel like you're gonna be tempted. Because what Dr. C told me, I asked him a very silly question. It's in my book, but I didn't say it this time. But I asked him, I was like, "Yo, doctor, oh my god," he was telling me like all these things. Like, you pre-diabetic, your brain is inflamed. Like, am I okay? He's like, "Are you listening to me?" He was very real up front. He's like, "Are you listening?" He's like, "I don't know what's gonna happen to you." He's like, "But you need to stop eating meat like yesterday." He's like, "Your body is reacting badly to it." He was a very cool doctor. Some might say that he was rude, but I could appreciate that. But he was like, "You need to stop eating meat like yesterday." So that's the same advice that I would give anybody. Like, just stop. Just stop. Just go eat vegetables. Go eat like collard greens, but just don't use these oils because it's not going to be beneficial if you're pairing it with like if you're cooking it in corn oil. So get grapeseed oil. That's to me is very important because we use oil to cook a lot. Like even if you're just sautéing, but get grapeseed oil, get olive, and get coconut oil. Just get those three oils and get whatever vegetables that you like. You could cook them. You could eat them raw. I would say get don't get the regular salt and use that. Don't eat bread. Don't take away bread. You could get quinoa, you could get sweet potatoes, And I'm going to prepare a more thorough list, but I would just say take the oil away. Take away the oil and don't eat any meat or animal byproduct. Not even honey. I would suggest agave. Feel like you're feeling better. That's what I would say. If you have the strength in you to just completely fast, I know a girl who, okay, who fasted completely. She was having a lot of skin issues. I'm not sure if she was facing autoimmune, but as she fasted, her skin became better. Dr. said, if you read his story, he fasted. He was impotent. He was diabetic. He went blind too, Dr. Sebi, and he just fasted until all his health issues went away. So if you can't fast, then just eat clean.
Okay, so as someone who said before, is that like raw vegetables or like the steamed vegetables?
You can do steamed, raw. I know one listener said that their daughter didn't react well to uncooked food. So then I would suggest steaming it. If you are fine with raw food, I would say do raw. Do raw as long as you can, and then slowly introduce cooked food into your diet. And also, like if you're just starting out, raw food sometimes does is not as like filling. You don't feel satiated. So if you feel like you're still hungry, then you could cook the vegetables.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I've got, I still got a whole lot of likes, a lot of likes and hearts whenever I'm looking for any, yeah, yeah, okay, yes, thank you. Someone is saying yes. Thank you very much. Okay, is there
Right.
anything else that you would like to share with everyone this evening?
Um, I just want to thank everybody for coming to listen. I want you to that you have the power within you to change your circumstance. Don't be so quick to listen to the doctors. I'm not going to say to rule out the doctors, because they can help, but also remember they don't have the final say. You have the final say, and with the right tools, you can body. So just don't give up. If you hear something negative, something devastating, if you're facing something devastating, don't give up. And if you guys could follow me, the Melanated MT, and the Wellness House F Healing on Instagram. I'm gonna be releasing my book soon. If you want to buy it, it will have the full story, more, and you could just have it on you. Want
So,
to look back, or if you're facing
I,
anything, you could go back to the book.
so the people on Instagram, they should be able to see because I'm putting up the cover. Well in 12, how I
Right.
reversed blindness and an autoimmune diagnosis in 12 days. So anyone who's watching it on Instagram, they can see it. Um, yeah, I can't really do it. Let me see. I can't really do it for the Facebook people, but it's on my previous post announcing your appearance today. So it's available on Amazon, or you're still working on it?
It's still in the works, but if you follow me, you could get it like a pre-order, or when it's out, I would send out I would notify everybody on my Instagram. But it's in the works right now.
Okay. Um, so how can people find you? For the people who are watching, can you reintroduce yourself? Tell people who you are and what services you provide.
Absolutely. I'm Alycea K. Shirley. I am a licensed massage therapist. I specialize in medical massage, cupping therapy, gua sha, facial massage, chair massage. I specialize in massage therapy. And
My Instagram handle as
the Wellness House of Healing. The second one is TheMelanatedMT. So the MelanatedMT, you can follow me either or, for more updates about when my book will be released. And yeah. And so if you ask Abena, she can always tell you where to find me as well.
And people can reach out to you for these services and also for yoni steaming also.
Yes, I do yoni steams as well. So if you want to reach out for my services, you can message me or DM me on the Melanated MT on Instagram. That's where I'm most active.
And can you explain quickly the facial work you do and the cupping? What are those?
Sure. Cupping therapy is one of my favorite therapies of massage. It's like a vacuum effect of a cup. It's like a vacuum, a small suction cup.
Based on parts of the back.
That different
Line up with different organs.
That line up with different organs and different muscle structures. It relieves pain. It detoxes the body. And based on the mark that the cup leaves, you can see if you have normal blood flow, if you have stagnant blood, and it's which is really good. It's a good indicator if you're healthy, if you need a little bit more work, or if your muscles are tight in a certain area. I had a client place the cup over her pancreas. She was very healthy. She looked healthy. She felt healthy, but the cup that I placed over the pancreas was very black, and it kind of worried her. And I told her she should probably follow up with her doctor, and if she find out that she had pancreatitis.
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
Cupping therapy. It's an ancient African modality. It's known for China, but in Africa they massage. It is a massage done with like a stone, like a crystal, and it rolls on your face. It loosens the muscles in your face. It promotes like an instant facelift. It's used for beauty. Instead of having to use makeup, you could massage your face.
Upstairs.
I'm almost finished. Okay. Right. So it's a beauty method. So very, you massage the head, the temples, the neck, all the facial, the muscles of the face and around the face, and it promotes like vitality, youthfulness in your face. Your skin will glow. If you're interested in like that, you can also book me.
Thank you very much. And yes, she is based in the Bronx, here in the Boogie Down Bronx. So we do have wellness practitioners in the Bronx, so definitely feel free to reach out to her. Okay, so I want to thank you for coming here and sharing your story. Again, if people want to email me at Bronx Holistic Healing, I can distribute the grocery list once it's available. And Miss Shirley, thank you. I can say that she will be in the Bronx on Saturday, May 18th at the Boogie Down Bronx Books and Writing Fair. The Boogie Down Bronx Book and Writing Fair at the East Bronx Academy on Saturday, May 18th. So come there to enjoy some books and enjoy some massage as well. Okay. All right. Thank
Yes,
you.
I'll be there.
Yes, thank you,
And thank you
everyone.
so much, Abena.
Yes, I'll see everyone next week, 7:15, 7:30, whatever. Just keep watching for the notification. They'll be there. Okay, all right, everyone, thank you, and I'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Okay, let's see if I can close. I always have a issue with that one. Okay, good.